What up, 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 world? It's your boy Amp Dog with another episode of Politicking. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, showing your love, and make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. Big Amp Dog said, what's the deal? And today, we got a story coming out of Pennsylvania. These two judges, they were part of this, it's called Kids for Cash scandal. And basically they just got ordered to pay 200 million to the families and the victims that they were sending to to juvenile facilities and sending them to jail, to pretty much for-profit prisons and stuff. So the two Pennsylvania judges named Mark Ciavarella and Michael Conan. They accepted a $2.8 million in legal payments to send children to for-profit jails. So they made $2.8 million throughout this scheme, which is crazy. Which is crazy that this is even something that's allowed in America. You feel me? So they orchestrated a scheme to send children to for-profit jails in exchange for kickbacks, and they were ordered to pay more than $200 million to hundreds of victims who fell, victims to their crime. The U.S. District Judge Christopher Connor awarded $106 million in compensatory damages and $100 million in punitive damages to nearly 300 people in a long-running civil suit against the judges. So this has been going on for a while now, and they finally, those families that participated, because not every victim actually participated in this lawsuit, so where they're not probably going to get anything, but they basically said that this is probably the most tragic human casualties of a scandal of epic proportions in modern day history, in American history, as far as the way that they were really, able to just send these kids to prisons and, and get money. So, and it was just as small as simple things as far as jaywalking. Kids jaywalking, they were immediately shackled and sent off to juvenile. They weren't able to, some cases they weren't able to fight their case, have a defense, say goodbye to their family. You know what I mean? So what they're doing is, like, as far as the breakdown, they say that the judge pretty much wanted to compensate the victims $1,000 for each day that they were, detained into a facility, which is cool, but I think, the compensation is good, but the thing that you can't never get back is that child's innocence, that child's outlook on life, because something that traumatic, being taken away from your family, yeah, you made a mistake, but is it really warranted to sending a child, a 8-year-old, 9-year-old? Like, these kids were young. They sending them to juvenile courts, juvenile jails for months at a time, whatever sentences that these judges decided to give them, which just shows you the flawed nature in this justice system, and how, there are targeted people, whether, people want to accept it or keep it honest, that there are people that does fit that criteria of people that would be the first ones that they go after to be able to lock up, or, hey, I'll take his freedom from him and you give me this money so he could go into your facility. So things like that, So what they saying is Ciavarella, who presided over juvenile court, pushed a zero tolerance policy that guaranteed large numbers of children would be sent to Pennsylvania Child Care and a sister facility, Western Pennsylvania Child Care. He also ordered children as young as 8 to detention, many of them first-time offenders convicted of petty theft and other minor crimes. The judge often ordered youths he had found legally delinquent to be immediately shackled, handcuffed, and taken away without giving them a chance to say goodbye to their families. Now that right there is traumatic. So imagine being an 8-year-old. You do something that all you would really need would be to probably have somebody talk to you about it, tell you what you did wrong, and then if mom or dad want to give some extra discipline as far as you get a little swatting on your backside. That's, I think that would have been enough to change these kids' perspective and how they would actually move forward with their lives. But now you have it to where these kids are going to jail, and I might be wrong, but this is my opinion. I think a lot of times when people go to jail, um, it's like a mental thing of, it ain't that bad. I could go back. Oh, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go hit this lick. They just gonna lock me up for 6 months. That ain't nothing. And so that's what, as far as thinking about these kids, that's what really bothers me. Um, is just the overall exposure, the exposure to this lifestyle, to, the criminal world, the criminal justice system, just them being exposed to that at such an early age. I think it does more damage than it does, good anyway. So Varela and Conahan abandoned their oath and breached the public trust. Um, their cruel and despicable actions victimize a vulnerable population of young people, many of whom were suffering from emotional issues and mental health concerns. Again, there's a targeted population that they knew that they can go after, and that they knew they would be able to take advantage of. Kind of like the lost souls within the country, or in their state, or whatever you may want to call it. The Pennsylvania State Supreme Court threw out some 4,000 juvenile convictions after they discovered this scheme. So 4,000 cases instantly thrown out. Which is good, because hopefully it doesn't show up on these kids' records. But again, it's like the damage is done already. You know what I'm saying? So Civarella, the former judge, is serving a 28-year prison sentence. Well deserved. Probably need a little bit more. Conahan, who was sentenced to more than 17 years in prison, was released to home confinement in 2020, with 6 years left on his sentence because of the coronavirus pandemic. I wonder if they went and rounded his ass back up and got him back in that prison. It is not clear whether the plaintiffs, now well into adulthood, will see any of the substantial damages awarded, but the co-founder, chief of counsel of the Philadelphia-based Juvenile Law Center and lawyers for the plaintiffs, said she can't imagine there is any money out there. Wow. So she's basically saying she don't think that, like, they're gonna get the judgment, the ruling, but she doesn't know if the money is even out there to be able to, be dispersed amongst the victims, which is crazy. So yeah, man, this is just a prime example of how, these things still happen pretty often, and it's still prevalent within our country and our world, and our communities. You know what I'm saying? So these guys were doing this, way back, however long. Like, nobody really knows the exact time, right? But as far as they could take it back, over 4,000 cases have been thrown out, that had to do with these guys presiding over them. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Big M Dog said, "What's the deal?" And how would you feel? Like, would if you did 10 days as a juvenile for, stealing a pack of gum? Is $1,000 per day, $10,000? Is that enough for you at this point in time in your life? As far as, a lot of these juveniles at that point in time, they're young adults now, so they are doing college applications, job applications. So is that $10,000 would that $10,000, figuratively speaking, would that be enough of compensation to, right the wrong as far as what these two gentlemen, were inflicting on the young community? Y'all let me know what y'all think.